Today marks 5 years since a mass shooting in Rochester that took the lives of 2 teens and injured more than a dozen others, a cold case that remains an unsolved mystery. Good evening, I'm Lowell Rose. 13 Wham's Carly Miner spoke with police as they continue to search for the person responsible. Carly?
Yeah, Lowell, please tell me the mass shooting on Pennsylvania Avenue was triggered by a warning shot from somebody who was trying to break up an argument. Investigators say that's when the exchange of gunfire began.
People were literally running for their lives.
Friday marks 5 years since the mass shooting on Pennsylvania Avenue that killed 2 teens and injured more than a dozen other people. This week, members of the Rochester Police Department sat down with me to talk about that shooting that killed Jaquayla Young and Jarvis Alexander, both 19 years old. The suspect is still at large.
There were definitely some people that saw exactly what happened, and they know who was there, and they know who had guns, and they know who shot guns. And they haven't come forward.
Just before 12:30 a.m. on September 19th, 2020, officers were called for a shooting.
And then when I got to the scene, the numbers were even higher. And it was just like, disbelief.
Our 2 deceased victims, and then 14 that were shot. And then maybe a month or 2 later, when we ended up talking to someone who we believed was a potential witness, found out that that person was actually shot but just never reported it.
Officers say what they discovered next was shocking. They found evidence of at least 60 shots fired from at least 15 different guns.
There was an argument between 2 different groups in the front, and there was an individual who chose to fire a couple of rounds into the air to try to break up the situation. And then that unfortunately caused people to panic.
According to investigators, that's when the exchange of gunfire began.
We were finding casings way beyond the backyard of Pennsylvania Avenue from gunfire that was coming from cars that literally were not even trying to flee, fleeing and then kind of coming back towards, where all the activity was and continuing to shoot.
Jarvis and Jaquayla were not targeted. I think that there were just too many people there, some that had no business and no legal reason to be carrying a gun.
For anyone with information, you can call Crime Stoppers at that number on your screen, 423-9300. Lowell?